We're going to fill out another bracket right now, or I guess our friend is. Pete Prisco is going to join us, and I'm telling you, this guy, we know him as the NFL guy. I don't know anyone who watches more sports than Pete Prisco.
It's very true.
I'll be calling a random Conference USA game some night, and Petey be like, yeah, I caught you on the game last night. Good job, Pete. You love men's college basketball, don't you?
Well, I do at this time of the year. I think as we get to this time of the year, the game becomes much better. I will say this, I think at times it's way overcoached, I'll be honest with you. Having been around the sport and having covered it back in the day for CBS, we used to go to all the regionals and all the sub-regionals. I used to go every year, and I thought the game was always overcoached because the coaches are the stars. But that's a whole nother aside. I love March Madness. It's great. I've loved it since I was a kid. Filled out brackets way back in the day, and now I'm filling out one here, and I think I got a winner on my hands.
Let's take a look at your bracket and going region by region, beginning in the South. That's where the #1 overall seed Auburn is. We're just going to highlight a couple of things. Why do you like Yale to win another first-round game? They did it last season as a 13 seed.
If you watch Yale play, man, they can score, and I think they're always one of those teams that can shoot the basketball very well. And look, the Ivy League is not a joke. We've seen teams come out of the Ivy League and win first-round games. It happens a lot. They can all shoot. They're well coached. They move the basketball. And teams, you know what they do when they face those Ivy League teams? They look at them and they go, oh, no, we're going to have a problem here. Next thing you know, the ball's whipping around the perimeter and they're shooting threes in their face, and that's why I think Yale will advance.
Iowa State to the Elite Eight. Are you aware they're without Keyshawn Gilbert?
Yeah, but again, this is a deep team, Chris. You know that. That team has a lot of players, and they will run and jump and get after you and press you and everything else. I love the way they play the game. I know he's not there, but I think there's enough there to help them get to the Elite Eight. I think they're well coached. I like that team.
But Auburn coming out of the South region, Amanda?
Pete, let's jump over to the West here, and I'm just going to jump ahead to the Sweet 16. And look, you're high on Maryland. So many people are. Our producer Noah says he has them going to the Final Four there. And you have a 1 seed of Florida, your first one dropping out of this at the hands of Maryland.
I love this Maryland team. I mean, look, if you look at them, they got the big guy in Queen. They're well coached by Willard, who is, by the way, a New York guy, had some experience under Rick Pitino. That guy knows how to coach. This guy knows how to coach. They will press. They will get after it. And when you have a big player like Queen who can dominate a game, you can do that. Plus, their point guard transferred in from Belmont, good player. That's a good team all the way around, depth, and a really good coach.
And Maryland getting to the Final Four, beating Texas Tech in Pete's Elite Eight, winner of the West. Let's go to the East, where Duke is the favorite to win it all. Pete, pretty chalky, except for BYU making a run.
Again, when you watch them play, good, big guys that can shoot the basketball, and you look at them and they're well coached, they move the ball around. All these teams that, you go into the tournament and everybody says, oh, well, I don't know if they can make a run. If you play good defense, you pass the ball, and you can make shots in the NCAA tournament, you will make a run. It's that simple. We know guards are important in the tournament. Their guards are good. They're talented. I look for BYU to make a little bit of a run.
Going over to the Midwest, Pete, and then we're going to jump over to your Elite Eight, Final Four, and stuff like that. As Chris said, similar to the last region, pretty chalky here. I think your only upset is Utah State over UCLA, and other than that, you have Houston riding out through the whole thing.
Yeah, I love this Houston team. And again, at times they're boring to watch. Let's be real. I mean, they pass the ball around. They work on the shot clock. They play really good defense. Kelvin Sampson does a great job of coaching those guys to play exactly the way he wants them to play. But when defense wins at times in the tournament, and I think that we've seen that take over. This group is talented as well. I think the point guard's really good. They will get after you on defense, and I think that's ultimately the biggest difference. Kelvin Sampson has that team playing exactly the way he wants it to play. When you play them, it's going to be ugly. They're going to muck it up, and they're going to make it real tough on your offensive game plan.
Yeah, I think they're one of the teams being overlooked. They've got the, I think, the 4th shortest odds to win the NCAA tournament, but all 3 other 1 seeds are ahead of them in those odds. As we get into Pete's Final Four, 3 1 seeds in that 4 seed Maryland, you have them making the national championship against Duke.
Yeah, and look, to win these things in these pools that I enter, you know, you got to have a little bit of take a chance on a team, and Maryland's my chance team. And I know they're not that deep of an underdog. They're not a real low seed, but I think they have a real chance with that Queen kid in the middle. He can dominate at times, and we've seen that. And again, good New York coach. Good New York coach. And when you look at Duke, I mean, come on. They got the best player in the country. He's going to be the first overall pick in the NBA draft. He went against the NBA players last year, and every single one of them raved about him when he was in high school. That's how good that kid is. He's Dirk Nowitzki, maybe a little bit more athletic. He's going to be a great NBA player. And by the way, the other kid, the other freshman, Kneppel, he can shoot the heck out of the basketball and is going to be a high pick as well. So they're loaded. Duke will win it all, but Maryland's going to be right there with them.
We're going to have Pete do one of our NBA mock drafts a little bit later in the show as well.
No, we're not going to. Okay, Pete, I have a question really quickly. So for tomorrow, what is your setup? How are you going to watch these games? Are you doing multiple screens? What do you do?
I'm a flicker. I'm the mad flicker. I can flick back and forth. I mean, I'm outstanding at it. ADD, you know, all those problems I have, I can watch 18 things at once and still flick back and forth. So I will be the mad flicker. And by the way, my picks here, they can't be any worse than my NFL picks this season, so I got something going for me, right?
I think these are going to be better. I think these will be better. We're going to ride with your bracket instead of your NFL picks.
Pete Prisco, the mad flicker.
Yeah, no, we're already
Who
clipping
calls
that off.
changing channels flicking?
Well, Pete, he's from like 1920, right? When they invented the remote. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers, he's got to find a home or make a decision. We're going to talk about it coming up.